Hi, good morning, everyone. It's so nice to be here. We've worked together with so many people, Eric, Andrew, and finally seeing everybody here in person is just fantastic. I'm so happy to be here. So before I get started, I do want to thank Louis for his presentation earlier. It came as a great validation for us because at DHI, the organization we are with, we actually have created an innovation ecosystem that focuses on driving entrepreneurship within the organization. So it's great to know that we are in the right direction. That's great. So if we can have my... Okay, I'm in control. All right, thank you so much. So Bhutan became the first country in the world to roll out a self-sovereign identity-based decentralized digital identity system in the world last year. The NDI Act of Bhutan received the royal assent in July 2023, and His Royal Highness, the 7-year-old Crown Prince, was actually the first digital citizen of the country when he registered for the Bhutan NDI wallet. So since then, it has just been an amazing journey where we have focused on enhancing the NDI platform, where we are focusing on expanding on the use cases and also just iterating on user experience as we go. And like he mentioned, it's just a journey of learning and adapting as we grow, and just trying to create value for the organization as well as individuals that are actually the users of our product. So, but before that, I'll talk about Bhutan a little just for context. So Bhutan is a tiny Himalayan country sandwiched between China and India. And we have a population of less than 1 million spread across 20 districts. And I have some interesting facts, and I also have some visual references so that you know what it looks like. So this is the capital city, Thimphu. You can see very lush green, and you can also see paddy fields right next to the administrative office in the center of the town. So this is what Thimphu, the capital city, looks like. It is a landlocked country, and it has very rugged terrains. So as you can see, especially for residents of the highlands, they often have to travel far and wide distances, sometimes even on foot because of limited infrastructure to access public and private services. So then also Bhutan is highly committed to conserving the environment, because of which the law mandates that 60% of the land be covered under forest cover with forest at all given times. So as you can see, the lush green mountains again, because of which Bhutan was the first carbon negative country in the world and continues to be one of the 3. So again, because of our commitment to the environment and also driven by our spiritual beliefs, mountain peaks higher than 6,000 meters are not permitted for mountaineering, because of which the highest unclimbed mountain in the world is in Bhutan. Bhutan is also, as you must all be aware, we measure gross national happiness along with the GDP. So there is actually a survey that is rolled out every year for citizens to partake in. And we were isolated from the rest of the world economically until 1974. So we opened trade and communication and just tourism after 1975. So that was just some social and geographical context, but even our technology evolution in the country has been very interesting, or interesting would probably be an understatement. In 1999 is when the country actually introduced broadcast television and internet. So we didn't have that until then, no television until 1999. Then we launched the first mobile telephone service only in 2003, and in less than 2 decades, we reached 100% penetration. In 2015, we launched mobile agency banking for the citizens, and it was only in 2020 and around 2021 where the focus of the government as well as the corporate sector pivoted, where we decided to focus more towards technology driven by Web 3.0 and Industry 4.0. So around 2021 is when the government started working on CBDCs. We also started conceptualizing self-sovereign identity. And we are also currently in the process of rolling out e-patient healthcare system and also in the process of creating an IoT-enabled smart city. Now that we have a technology and geographical and social context, I do want to highlight some of the problems that we are trying to solve by creating an NDI ecosystem. So inclusion has been a big factor and a driving factor for rolling out a project like this, like I mentioned earlier, because citizens have to travel far distances to access public and private services, financial services. We have many unbanked citizens even today. So inclusion, not just in terms of accessibility to private services, but also for financial inclusion and driving economic participation of citizens and residents within the country. So the other is to create a very integrated and seamless digital experience when accessing portals and applications and other business and government services. Trust and security, of course, is a very high priority, and that is one of the reasons why we adopted SSI as the philosophy for the product. A lot of the systems are partially digitized as of now, so that is another one that we did want to solve so that residents don't have to travel really far distances, getting through rugged terrains just to open a bank account or to access public services. And to also solve complex KYC processes, especially around compliance and regulatory mandates. So these are some of the problems that we hope to solve, and it's good to see that we are getting there. Just for those who are not really familiar with the concepts of SSI, before that, let me actually give a context. When we started with the project, we were focused on creating a very centralized digital identity system. Our references were the Aadhaar system in India and SingPass in Singapore. But while we were doing feasibility studies and trying to conceptualize what the product would look like, it was His Majesty the King, a very visionary leader, so inspiring, who had this personal vision to provide every citizen with the right to privacy. And we changed directions and then decided to move towards decentralization. And just a little bit around what the product looks like based on SSI. So the wallet is built with edge technology. So all of the data, personal data of citizens and residents are stored in their personal wallet and not on third-party cloud servers. Individuals have full ownership over their personal data, and the product is designed around consent. So it is supported by selective disclosure and zero knowledge proof protocols. So, and I'll show later, I'll get to the product, the platform itself, where I'll show how credentials are shared and how there's minimal disclosure of information. And individuals, of course, don't, the ID proofs are not owned by a single authority or a central authority. So it is distributed, and there is, there's less risk of a single point of failure. So just around the platform and products, and for the users, we have the Bhutan NDI wallet, which is very similar and aligned to the EUID, and it is also aligned with the NDI framework. It is available on, currently available on iOS App Store and Android Google Play Store, but we are also working on rolling it out on the KaiOS store, which is built for lightweight feature phones. And for organizers, we have organizations, we have issuer and verifier services. And along with issuer and verifier services, they get access to microservices around trust registry and revocation. So the design of the wallet has 3 mandates. We are still working on it. It's a work in progress, and it's an evolving product. But the mandate is that the wallet support exchange of verifiable credentials, so basically digital ID proofs and certificates, seamless currency transactions for exchanging and currency flow of digital tokens, NFTs, CBDCs, and secure digital signing, so cryptographic and hash keys. So as of now, the verifiable credentials is currently live. We are testing out the digital signing features, and seamless currency transactions is in the pipeline. We are still conceptualizing what that would look like. So as I mentioned, I'll show you what the product looks like as well. So this is the NDI wallet. These are how your credentials are listed. So as of now, we have employment credentials, foundational ID, permanent address, mobile number as VCs. So these are how they are listed in the wallet. You can also see statuses up there, which says active. We have revoked and suspended as well. And then you can also self-attest credentials, your mobile number, your email address, even your allergy, so that when you're probably accessing healthcare services, your doctors would be aware of that. These are the attributes, just an example of the attributes under one of the credentials. So there can be many. It depends on the organizations, how they want to design these, the schemas. And like I mentioned, because of zero knowledge proof, so our foundational ID has, I think, around 5 attributes. But as you can see here, when I'm trying to access a portal by DHI, it's an internal employment e-recruitment portal. They've requested only for 2 attributes from my foundational ID. So you do have selective disclosure. The proof requests are designed around selective disclosure. So individuals do not really have the right to select which they want to choose, but the proof requests are predetermined based on regulatory needs. And you can also see connections. These are P2P connections. So you can see DHI, that's for employment. You can see BOB, which is the Bank of Bhutan. We have citizen services, which allows you access to the public services. And DRC is basically the issuer of my foundational ID. Some of our service sectors that we are currently serving. In the government sector, of course, we have the Department of Civil Registration and Census and the Department of Immigration, mainly for issuing foundational ID. Then you can use passwordless login for accessing services on the citizen services portal. We also serve road and transportation for driver's license, learner's license, and vehicle registration. In the education sector, we have the Royal University of Bhutan and also BCSEA for grade 10 and 12. Then in telecommunications, Tashicell, one of the only privately owned companies that have integrated with us, they can issue mobile numbers as verifiable credentials. And in the banking sector, we have Bank of Bhutan and also Royal Securities Exchange for mainly accessing bond and securities. And in the human resources sector, we have DHI. This was our pilot use case, but eventually we also went ahead and integrated with the Royal Civil Services for the public servants in the country. So the RCSC can issue employment details and credentials for all public servants. And just the services in these sectors, what you can actually do is issue verifiable credentials for your users. We provide verified eKYC and customer identification. These are mainly and specifically designed around compliance and regulatory requirements. We have passwordless login and as a sub-feature, access management through passwordless login as well. Just some current statistics for the product. We have 90,000 plus foundational ID issued. I know it doesn't sound like a big number, but our population is just 0.7 million, so this is close to 13%, so I don't think it's a bad number. We have 14 G2C services integrated. This is mainly for accessing public services. And we have 10 plus integrations underway in both private and public sectors. Just as interoperability, we all know, is such a big concern, and that is something without which the product would not even have any meaning. So we have designed the product to meet certain global and domestic standards. The verifiable credentials are aligned with the W3C's web mandates around the global web standards. For the biometric algorithm, it's approved by NIST. And of course, the product was developed alongside NDI Act, so it is very much in line with what the legal and parliamentary frameworks mandate. And just a little bit around what we have on the product roadmap. As I mentioned earlier, inclusion is a very big factor. So our product design is mainly, you will see there that we are focused on driving adoption for individuals across across the country, and even for those who maybe are not literate and cannot control their wallet. So we will be working on custodial wallet and hybrid wallet. The NDI Act, in fact, mandates controllership and guardianship capabilities for all digital ID wallet providers. And as I mentioned earlier, we are working to launch on KaiOS native app so that we can provide feature phones for rural residents who do not use smartphones. And digital signing and peer-to-peer chat is currently being tested, so we hope to take these live in the coming months. For the use cases, these are around, again, service sectors in health, in national services. We have more financial institutes and like insurance companies, banks getting onboarded on the platform. We also have aviation, natural resources, and we do have certain things around security, audit, and tax certifications. And I think I'm coming towards the end of my presentation, but the entire idea to roll out a project like this and a product like this is to accelerate access to services, like I mentioned, not just to public and private services, but also to increase financial inclusion and economic participation, because the country has been closed off to global markets for the longest time. So it is time that citizens take advantage of borderless activities rather than being bound by physical borders. Then just I think I have come to the end of my presentation, and I'll get to this in a minute. But I do want to leave with a question for all of you. This is an industry that is very nascent. It's still evolving. As he mentioned, we just continue to learn, continue to adapt. I think it is important to take risk, like he mentioned again, and be willing to fail, because I do believe that if you're looking to create a perfect platform, it's going to take a really long time to launch the product even in the market. But because especially for Bhutan, we didn't really have a reference point, to learn from. So we had to take that risk, we had to fail, and we had the support of the government. So I guess our risk tolerance was higher, but the question that I do want to leave it is, how can we create an industry and drive an industry that is creating value not just for individuals. I agree that individuals is at the center, but also for businesses and organizations, so that we can drive adoption. I don't personally believe that it can be a government push strategy. I think you have to get the buy-in of stakeholders across the board. So I think, especially in Bhutan NDI, the design of our use cases is driven by important questions like, can we automate compliance by just simply issuing verifiable credentials, and can we address problems around anti-money laundering and anti-financing of terrorism by creating verifiable credentials like mobile verification numbers so that these are authentic and verified? And also, can we even solve problems for organizations like media, OTT, and e-commerce to control password sharing so that their businesses can boom as well? I think it's important to see these things from all perspectives and create value for individuals, for organizations, and the government alike, while at the same time keeping individuals as the controller and owner of their personal data. So now coming to this, as you already know, Eric will be joining me. So we took this past few months to work on an in-depth case study within Bhutan for digital trust ecosystem. And we have the case study now ready. We are launching it today, so you will be the first ones to receive it. You can scan the QR code and download it. It covers the entirety of Bhutan's digital trust ecosystem, around what the trust interactions look like, what are the governance anchors, who are the participants and players in the ecosystem, what the verifiable credentials look like. So I think you will get a very in-depth understanding of our product after that. So please scan the QR code while Eric joins me on stage.